Welcome back to Bros in the Landfill! Just give us a moment. We're not done transforming into our charming alternate selves yet.
I most certainly am not. Your hosts for today are the... I don't even know what to say, honestly. Your host for today is Try, who is fed up with my bowl.
Wow, Try's here?
And Tar, who's fed up with my bowl. No, Try's right here, guys. What are you talking about?
Try's totally here.
Hi, guys, it's me,
Isn't that
Try.
right, Try?
Hi, guys, it's me, Try. I'm Try. What's up? Do you guys want to talk about anime? Okay,
No, that was a horrible Try impression, because in order to do Try, you need to speak really you need to speak really fast, and you need to stumble over your words a lot.
That actually was pretty good.
Thank you.
But I'm not trying to be accurate. Gosh, who does an impersonation of their friend and tries to be accurate with it? What do you think I am, a good person? So what are we talking about today?
So I've been playing a lot of a certain card game lately. It's called Star Realms.
Oh, do tell me, is it better than Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links?
I've never played. Oh. Okay, I don't think Audacity picked that up. Okay. So, sorry, there was some things going on outside.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, I've never actually played Duel Links, so I can't say for certain, but I would say probably.
Is it better than that one Pokemon card game with the really scary 3D animations?
The what?
Okay, do you not know about this?
I do not know about this.
Let me go find you an image, and while I'm looking for that image, why don't you go ahead and tell us what it's about?
So, Star Realms is a really quick... It's a sort of a deck builder game. So you start off with a deck of 10 cards. And at all times, there's going to be a market out on the field consisting of 5 cards. 8 of your 10 starting cards give you 1 coin. Your other 2 give you 1 damage. You start off with 50 health. The first person to get to 0 loses. Well, anyone who gets to 0 loses. So during your turn, you get a 5-card hand. And in your hand, your starting hands definitely you get coins. Each card on the market has a certain cost, and you can use your coins to buy those cards. As soon as you buy a card off the market, it goes into your discard pile, and as soon as you run out of cards to draw, you shuffle your discard pile, and that becomes your new deck.
Oh, so it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! At all then, really?
It is not like Yu-Gi-Oh! At all.
It's like the Dungeon Dice Monsters of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh.
Also, here's your horrifying image.
Oh, thank you for that. Oh, that's going to be in my nightmares.
Oh, it won't be as bad as the next one.
Oh, no.
Actually, it will be, because there is no next one. I'm not showing you anymore.
Okay.
You can look up the rest.
I would rather not, thank you. But anyways, yes. You shuffle. So at the end of your turn, you discard all of your cards that need to be discarded, and you draw a new 5-card hand. And once you run out of cards to draw, you shuffle your discard pile. That becomes your deck, and that's how you get all of your new stuff you just bought integrated into the game. Any questions so far?
Yes. Can you repeat all of that?
No.
Isn't that a thing in the video?
Do you actually need me to you actually need me to repeat it for you?
Well, I was looking up a picture, but I can probably ad-lib the rest. I was just gonna make a joke, because there's like a lot of things in video games where someone like explains everything to you and then says, "Did you get all that? Yes? No?"
Oh.
And then no. All right, I'll explain it all from the beginning again. And then you can just ruin their entire life by making them explain the same thing over and over again, nonstop, forever. Tell me how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. I told you like 8 times. Yeah, but I really listened the 9th.
So all of the cards, all the cards you can buy have a certain cost. Of course, that's how buying works. Um, the lowest cost card is 1, and the highest cost card is 8. And it is really difficult to get your hands on those 8 cost cards because you only have a 5-card hand.
Mm.
So there are also 2 different kinds of cards you can pick up. You can pick up ships, and you can pick up bases, because this is Star Realms, and we're doing spaceships. The difference is, at the end of your turn, all of your ships go into your discard pile, but bases stay out in play. Does that make sense?
Kind of. A little bit.
You can get rid of bases. All bases have an armor stat. You need to be able to do that much damage in a single turn to destroy it. Still with
Only
me.
a single turn?
If you can't do so if you have a base that has an armor stat of 5, you have to be able to do 5 damage in a single turn. You can't do 3 damage one turn and 2 in another.
Oh, well, that seems a bit.
That seems a bit.
This sounds more like a board game than a card game.
Well, I mean, kinda. There's no board. There's just a market.
Well, okay. Okie dokie, Loki.
Okay, and there are 2 different kinds of bases. There are regular bases. Those have silver shields. Those can be destroyed if you have enough firepower, and if you find their effects annoying. But they can be ignored. You can just keep blasting the opponent if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Outposts have black shields, and those must be targeted before anything else. So if you have a 5-point outpost, and I only have 3 points of damage this turn, you don't take any damage. And the outpost stays in play. So outposts act as meat shields. Or steel shields, I guess, because this is space. Anything not making sense so far?
Well, I'm formulating this game in my head, but I'm like, having not played it, my idea of it is probably not quite how the game actually works.
Well, I mean, like, of course, every ship can give you, like, either coins or damage or both or other things.
Well, it's kind of like if I explained Yu-Gi-Oh to you, it would sound simple in like premise and idea, but then in actual execution, there's like a million cards that do a million different things. And
this is actually the exact opposite. This sounds complex in theory, but in actuality, it's like once you really get going, it's really simple.
Oh, so it's like insert insulting comment here about other game.
Oh.
Oh, so it's like fudge. I don't really have anything.
It's like
I don't really have anything like stupid or controversial to say. Oh, it's like Legend of Zelda. Ha ha ha.
Oh.
No, that doesn't
I've never
really
played
work.
Zelda. I've played a tiny bit of Twilight Princess.
I've played Legend of Zelda games. I was never any good at them.
Same.
I'll say this about Legend of Zelda. I don't think there's anything wrong with the games I played. I just think I wasn't very good at them.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably the same thing here.
Yeah.
But anyways, so let's see here. So that's ships, bases. Anything else I need to go over? Oh, there's also a faction system denoted by color, so I'm just gonna talk about the colors.
Am I blue?
What?
Can I be blue?
You can be blue.
Can I be light blue?
Each color does a certain thing very well.
Can I be Jack Frost?
No, you can't be Jack Frost. So the red faction is good at getting rid of cards you don't want permanently.
Oh, do they just have a paper shredder?
Well, from that round of the game. I don't think they have a paper shredder. They do have an incinerator, though.
Well, that's not good. You don't want to burn these things. That's inefficient and pollutionous.
um,
Burning
yeah,
cards is
so
like burning books.
spoiler alert, your starting cards are not very good, so
Oh,
you
is this
probably
like
do
reshift?
want to get rid of them.
Is this
Oh,
like
I'm sorry, you were
reshift?
saying something.
Is this like reshift, where your starting cards are terrible and getting more is just not gonna happen?
Well, I mean, like you're only really usually you're only picking up like one card per hand,
Mm-hmm.
unless you get like a shit ton of coins.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the time you don't really get more than 6 coins in a single hand. So, but it is possible to get 8. Otherwise, these cards wouldn't. Otherwise, 8-cost cards wouldn't exist.
Well, yeah,
Anyways,
obviously.
yes. Red cards are good at keeping your deck small, which is very good because then your good cards will come out more often, and you get rid of your bad cards. So that's neat. The yellow faction is good at generating what I call card advantage. Yellow cards let you draw a lot of cards. They let you discard bad cards to hopefully draw better cards. They can force the opponent to discard. Yellow is very good at hand manipulation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these terms apply to a lot of card games, so
Yeah.
it's just they mean different things depending on which game they're for.
Right. The blue faction is basically your support faction. Oh jeez.
Hey, that's a copyrighted song.
Shit. Well, I didn't recognize the number, so
Yeah, I hate.
I'm just gonna go ahead and ignore that.
I hate getting phone calls from people I don't know. The only saving grace is that sometimes they leave me a voicemail, and the voicemail is unbelievably hilarious.
Oh.
Voicemails from bots
yes.
can be just hysterical sometimes.
The blue faction is good at generating a lot of coins. The blue faction also is good at getting you big resources quickly. Blue can also like manipulate where cards go once they're bought. Like sometimes they can drop it on top of your deck, and sometimes they can even put it directly into your hand.
Oh. But can they put these cards into my back pocket so that I can use it in a rainy day?
Yes. They can.
But can these put these cards in... never mind, just keep going. I can't think of anything.
Blue is also the only faction that can heal you.
Oh, blue sucks. I don't like blue anymore. I'm gonna join the red faction. I'm defecting.
Blue is actually widely considered to be the most important faction.
I'm defecting, because again, they're Crom. I'm leaving you for the evil side.
And lastly, we have green, which is really, really, really good at killing shit.
Oh.
Green is the high damage faction.
Which is the worst faction? I want to join that one.
In my opinion, yellow.
Yellow? Alright, I'm joining yellow.
It doesn't actually, like, you don't actually join factions. Factions are important because most cards have what we call an ally ability. That is when you have two or more cards of the same color on the field at the same time. Okay. All cards of the same color gain their respective ally abilities if they have one. Does that make sense?
So they're all psychic.
So if I have a hand that's 1 red, 2 yellows, a blue, and a green, only my yellows will get their ally abilities.
So they unlock each other's ally abilities, or they have the abilities of all other yellows on the field? Like a hive mind?
I guess I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, let's say you play 2 yellows with 2 different abilities. Do both of their abilities, do they have each other's abilities and their own, or do they only have their own abilities?
they so each yellow card on its own will have its primary ability,
Mm-hmm.
um, but played together, both cards get their own ally ability.
So your ally ability is activated by another card of the same color, and
Yes,
only
this
then.
would also work if you had 3 yellows, a red and a green.
So they unlock each other's abilities, but they don't share abilities.
Yes.
Okay, that was what was confusing me.
Okay, I understand you now. I think that's it. Let me double check here.
So where's the Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yes.
Look in the green faction.
Oh no! Blue Eyes turned coat on me. He was supposed to be leader of the White faction. He was gonna wipe out the entire. I don't know if I want to keep making this joke.
Okay, so I also kind of wanted to run by the most expensive cards, the 8-cost cards by you, because
Okay.
I have them ranked here, and I want to see which ones you think would be the most powerful.
Well, keep in mind, I don't know anything about this game, so I'm applying Yu-Gi-Oh logic to it.
Perfect. Well, I'm sure you'll notice a few trends.
Hmm.
So, shall we start off with the red faction?
No, I hate red. We're starting with yellow.
We're starting with yellow. Got it. So, first up is the Fleet HQ. This is a base with a silver shield, so it can be protected. And it has 8 points of armor. So, this is one of the beefiest shields in the game. The Fleet HQ, what it does is whenever a ship is played, that ship gains an additional 1 damage. And that's it.
Just 1 damage?
1 damage for every ship you play.
For every ship you play. So it's basically it's a big tank that gets stronger and stronger the longer it goes on. It's a war of attrition kind of thing?
Not really. Because, like, if you have the Fleet HQ out and you have 2 ships in that hand, the Fleet HQ has 2 damage on it. The next turn, if you have 4 ships, the Fleet HQ has 4 damage on it.
In your hand?
Does that make sense?
Wait,
what?
In your hand, not your field?
Well, on the field. Well, assuming you play every card.
Huh. And you can play more than 1 card per turn, then?
Yes.
I see. So if you destroy all the other ships, then basically all you have is a giant rock.
Yeah, if you only have bases in that hand and you play your entire hand, which you do, you always play your entire hand.
Oh. Huh? Well, going off of Yu-Gi-Oh logic, that doesn't sound very good, but also in Yu-Gi-Oh logic, a giant beefy shield can be, easily killed by a magic or a trap card, but I don't remember if you said those exist in this game, so...
Those do not exist in this game.
Anything...
not in the base set. There are some events that pop up in expansions, but we're not worrying about those.
Well, if it's just purely numbers against numbers and might versus might, then I guess it sounds fine? But it doesn't sound very good to me. It seems like a lot of effort to get a giant rock onto the field.
Okay. So next up, we have the Emperor's Dreadnought. This one's a ship.
Is this also yellow or?
This one's also yellow. I'm doing all of the yellows first.
All right.
So when you play the Emperor's Dreadnought, you get 8 damage, and you get to draw a card, and you get to force the opponent to discard. If on the turn you acquire it, you played a yellow card, the Emperor's Dreadnought goes directly into your hand.
Sorry, can you repeat that? You kept cutting out.
With just the last one, or do you want me to go over the entire card again?
Let me see if I can summarize it for you. It's an 8 damage power monster, and if you summon a yellow guy, you can get it to your hand.
So 8 damage,
And you can
draw
force
one
your
card,
draw one card,
the
force
opponent
enemy
discards.
discard.
So say the Emperor's Dreadnought is on the market.
Uh-huh.
If you have played and you decide you have enough coins, you want to buy it.
Uh-huh.
If you have played a yellow card that turn, it does not go into your discard pile, it goes directly into your hand.
Well, that has searchability then, so yeah, that.
So it has the potential to come out instantly.
Yeah. And if your deck is just full of yellows, then you're basically already like.
Except yellow isn't very good at generating coins. It's gotten better, but it's still not fantastic.
Well, I guess that's the thing too, is I have to know about which cards are better at doing what, and
like I said, blue is your coin faction.
I guess the Emperor's Dreadnought sounds fine. Again, like I don't know much about this game, and I'm going.
Like, yeah, you don't have too much of a scale right now.
I'm going at this from Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, but I guess if I went in knowing only this and I was playing yellow, I guess I would use Emperor's Dreadnought, unless a better card exists.
You also aren't confined to a single faction.
Oh,
you can pick up whatever cards you can buy.
So, yeah, so that's the thing too, is that out of the two that you've told me, Emperor's Dreadnought sounds better, but I don't know all the other possible cards you can buy, so I'm kind of like,
Also keep in mind this is a ship, so this is a one and done thing until you reshuffle.
I see.
Next up, we have the Imperial Flagship. This one is also a ship. It has ship in the name. With this one, you get 7 damage and draw 2 cards.
That's it?
If you have a yellow ally for him, you can force the opponent to discard.
Well, that sounds awful. That sounds like a massive waste of resources, especially when the Emperor Dreadnought that you just mentioned before has more power and basically does the same thing.
Except, for the Imperial Flagship, you're trading 1 damage for another card.
You're trading 1 damage for what?
For another card.
Yeah, but
the Emperor's Dreadnought, you only get to draw 1 card, but with the Flagship, you get to draw 2.
I suppose. But drawing 1 card, making someone else throw another card, and having a stronger card, as well as the thing about the Emperor's Dreadnought too is, like you were saying, you summon a yellow ship and it goes straight into your hand. That's like one of the big things.
That's true.
The immediate use of it, the Imperial Flagship. It's like, yeah, I guess it sounds better when you get it onto the field, but like one, you can pull straight from this market and then throw it right on. The other one goes into your discard. So you have to get rid of all your cards.
You do have to wait for the Imperial. You are guaranteed to wait for the Imperial Flagship to come out. That is true.
And that's the big thing to me. So I'm thinking I would still go Dreadnought so far. Emperor's Dreadnought.
Okay. So that's it for the yellows. Which one do we want to do next?
Let's go in order from best to worst, or best to worst, or worst to best. But here's the kicker: you don't tell me which order you picked.
I actually prefer to go by color.
Well, then go by your personal favorite to least favorite, or least favorite to favorite, but don't tell me which is which until the very end.
I'm just going to do the reds next.
Just do whatever you want, I guess.
Okay, so next we have Brain World. This one's a base. It's an outpost, so it must be destroyed. Remember, outposts must be destroyed before anything else. It has a 6-point shield, so it's pretty beefy. So Brain World is you get to get rid of up to 2 cards from your hand and or your discard pile. So you get a choice and mix there. You get to pick and mix there for where you want to get rid of cards. And for each card that you get rid of because of Brain World, you get to draw 1 card.
So you're getting rid of cards to get more cards?
You are permanently trashing your bad cards to draw cards.
Well, I mean, yeah, that sounds fine. That doesn't sound like game winning or game losing. That just sounds fine.
Okay.
It
So
seems
you're
like
so the dreadnought is still your favorite so far?
so far. I mean, Brain World doesn't sound bad at all, but it just sounds like. I mean, it just sounds like fine. It's like, yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Okay. Next up, we have the incinerator.
Oh, is that the incinerator you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Don't burn
Yeah.
cards,
Um.
you foolish
So
little people.
the incinerator is also a base, also an outpost with a 6-point shield, and it also lets you scrap up to 2 cards from your hand and or your discard pile. If
Uh-huh.
you have a red friend for him, you get 2 damage for each card you scrap from your hand and your discard pile. That includes cards from other red cards.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's like burn a whole lot of stuff to make a really big cannon.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this
So
game
if I
has.
so say I have 1 red friend for him,
Mhm.
and I get to that red friend also lets me scrap. Also lets me scrap 1. So that's 3 cards scrapped. So that's 6 damage on the incinerator.
So basically, this card would work good with Brain World, the Incinerator, and Brain World. You throw a bunch of cards away, you throw a bunch more cards away, and then you attack with your Incinerator.
It could.
So what happens if you run out of cards?
Then you're fucked.
Do you automatically lose, or are you just effed?
um, well, the thing is, if you burn all your cards with the incinerator, you have no way of, 1, scrapping more cards for more damage, and 2, gaining more resources. So
So the red faction sounds like a quick burn kind of deck, like win as fast as possible with just use whatever you can to make a mad dash for victory. That's what red sounds
maybe.
like.
Well, I mean, again, keep in mind you aren't confined to one faction.
Well, I'm just
You can
thinking,
take
yeah.
you can take as much of whatever factions you want.
Well, yeah, but some of these factions don't seem concussive with or conducive with. Sorry, what was that word again?
Conducive.
Yeah, some of these factions don't seem conducive with each other if, like, one is about permanently getting rid of cards and others are about drawing more cards. And if the
Well,
red faction.
you want to permanently get rid of your bad cards. And keep in mind, these scraps are optional.
Yeah, but you're saying they're optional, but how much power does the incinerator have without any scraps?
0.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're supposed to scrap your cards. That's how these things work, at least to my understanding. My very incredibly poor
Right.
understanding.
No, you're getting it. You're getting it.
So, yeah, it's like drawing more cards and then scrapping more cards, and then, like, it seems like you'd want to make reds. Reds just seem like the kind of thing where you'd want to get a bunch of useless cards to scrap, is how it seems to me.
That's fair enough. So moving on then.
Oh yeah.
So for our last red card, we have the Nanobot Swarm. This is a ship. When you put him out, he does 5 damage. You get to draw 2 cards, and you get to scrap up to 2 cards from your hand and or your discard pile.
So he's like the Imperial flagship, but he lets you scrap, and he's weaker.
Yes.
Well, combine him with the incinerator, which seems to be like the big thing that the Reds are based around, because the incinerator gets more power the more scrap. So that's what I assume is like the big circle of the red group, or the big center of the red group.
Maybe.
So yeah, the ability to scrap stuff to feed your incinerator sounds fine. I think personally,
keep in mind, all of these cards cost 8 coins.
all of them cost 8 coins. So you need to
all of these cards cost 8 coins.
So you'd need 16 coins to pull out both an incinerator and this thing.
Yes. Well, 16 coins cumulative. Like, all of your coins go away at the end of your turn, but you don't need 16 coins in a single hand. You just need 8 coins in 2 hands.
I think personally, I just wouldn't play red. It seems like
All
it
right.
requires just way too much setup.
Well, keep in mind, you're given cards to burn.
Yeah, from your hand.
Like, you want to get rid of your little dinky your dinky little 1 coin ships and your dinky little 1 damage ships as fast as you can, because you don't want them gumming up your deck for the late game.
Yeah, but you need to be... How many coins do you start with again?
Depends on how many coins you draw in your starting hand.
Yeah, that just...
Anywhere from 3 to 5.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound good. Because if you need 8 for your incinerator, and then the red cards are based around, like, burning... And the thing is, too,
well, again,
is that...
You can pick up cards that give you more coins.
I guess the other thing, too, is, like... The incinerator and the like all the red cards are based on burning stuff. So, and you're saying like you can pick and choose from any faction, but wouldn't burning be useless outside of a red card, or outside of a red faction kind of deal?
It's true. Red is the only faction that can do this.
Yeah. So
it's up to you to decide if you really want to build that red deck.
It seems like reds would be kind of handy in, like, just a very small number of reds would be handy in any deck just to get rid of some of your really low-cost ships that you don't want. But making a full-on red deck is, like, you want to, like, grab coins fast, pull out your big aces, and then just nuke your opponent.
That's a fair analysis.
That's how
I think that's a fair analysis.
It seems kind of like a very calculated kind of trickery.
Like you'd want to, like the way you're wording it, you'd want to build red green.
Sorry, what is it?
Because remember, green is your high damage faction.
Well, none of these reds I can personally say good or bad of. So I guess I have no strong feelings either way. They all sound fine except for that last one.
You don't like the nanobot swarm. Interesting.
Well, actually, I just forgot what it did, so...
5 damage, draw 2 cards, scrap up to 2 cards.
Oh. Is 5 a lot?
5 is a good amount.
Well, you say that, but a lot of those forts, you said that can only last for, like, you need to break down in 1 turn. They have, like, 6 defense or stuff, so...
Well, that is also 6 health. That is also 6 damage that is not going to you. That is 6 damage that is going into that base.
No, I'm
so
thinking
your health
about
is
like
protected.
The 5 power that nanobot has. That's not enough to take down those forts, so it's not very strong. So its main draw to me is the ability to draw more cards and the ability to burn cards.
Well, keep in mind you also are going to have more cards in your hand than just the nanobot swarm. You're probably going to be doing more damage than just that.
I would use Brain World personally. It has better defenses and it does basically the same thing.
Okay. So let's move on to the blue faction then.
Oh boy, blue. I hate blue.
So first we have the command ship.
I hate
Obviously
blue.
a ship.
Commanding
so the command ship does.
Power Rangers aren't real. Also, why doesn't the red faction have a Santa Claus?
Wait, what?
Why doesn't the red faction have a Santa Claus? You have flying ships and it's a fantasy game and it's red. Where's my Santa Claus? Although I guess Santa gives, not takes away, so maybe he would have made more sense for yellow. But still.
Maybe.
This is baloney. I want my Santa Claus. And I want him to go into Try's house and take off his pants.
If you didn't say it, I would have. Anyways, first we have the command ship. This guy does 5 damage, heals you for 4, and lets you draw 2 cards. If you have a blue friend for him, he gets to destroy a base for free.
Like a full base? Just
Well,
whole
obviously the
thing's
outposts
dead.
have to go first, but yeah,
Well,
the
that just
outposts have. Well, it can destroy an outpost. It
well
can also destroy an outpost for free.
well. See, I guess my thoughts on this is like, well, first of all, this guy sure does a lot, and second thought is like, I kind of missed some of the explanation you had earlier, but is your life the entire metric? Like, it is the only thing that life is used for in this game, is to like keep yourself alive, and if it hits zero, you
Yes.
lose. It
If you
has
hit
no other
if you
uses.
hit if you hit 0 health, you lose.
But health is only for a metric of winning. Is that it then?
Health is the only metric of winning. Yes.
Okay, because I was thinking about this, and I was thinking my immediate thought about the recovering life was like something a friend of mine was talking to me about when he was saying stuff about Yu-Gi-Oh. Because again, it's the only card game I know. And he was saying like in Yu-Gi-Oh, cards that heal life aren't actually very good. It's like most people actually spend a whole lot of their life points to like use really good card effects that take life points, or they'll use a card that heals their opponent but does something more beneficial to them. And he was saying like life points don't. And he was saying like life points don't actually matter all that much in that game. They're more like money. It's more
No,
like a
health is the
currency. But if you're saying here in this game, health is only used for keeping yourself alive and stuff, and you can't
yeah. There's
spend
no
it on
life
anything.
manipulation stuff in this game.
So in that case, now I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, well, it heals you for 4. So can you go over maximum? Like,
You can't.
so yeah,
There is no health. There is no health limit to this game.
yeah. So now that's starting to sound better to me because I'm thinking, okay, so if there's no health limit and health is not spent in any way, it's only like taken by enemy attacks, then you could technically make a giant turtle strategy.
You could.
Just keep healing yourself and stuff. And this thing can destroy bases. But
If you have blue friends for him.
I'm still not completely sold though, so I'm kind of on the fence about this card. So I'm like, let's keep going and see if there's a better blue.
Okay. Next up is Capital World. This one is an outpost. Every turn it is up, it gives you 6 heals, and you get to draw 1 card. And it is a 6-point shield.
Well, that just sounds very like standard, I guess. I guess that would work pretty good for a shield kind of deal, for a turtle kind of deal, I mean.
However, like I said, this is an outpost, so you can probably reasonably expect it to last 1 turn.
Well, still.
Unless your opponent gets screwed by the cards they draw. Like, you do still need to do 6 damage to it.
Well, I guess it depends, like, really on the situation there, where if your opponent doesn't have enough ships to do 6 damage to it, then you could probably pull it out and get some good draws and get some good heals and stuff. But if your opponent has a lot of money, then it's probably not worth the 8 cost that it's asking for.
If the opponent doesn't have a lot of money, what do you mean by that?
Well, because any of these a lot of the 8 cost cards that you mentioned before can like have more than 6 power, so they could destroy it easily. And at that point, it's like, well, you didn't really do your job very well and you were saying the outpost will last like maybe 1 turn, and I'm thinking in my head like 8 cost sounds like an awful lot to spend. So,
well,
if your opponent,
keep in mind that if a base or an outpost is destroyed, it goes into your discard pile.
Yeah.
So it can come back.
Yeah, but if it's destroyed once, then you still need to wait for it to come back into your hand before
you do still need to
again.
wait for it to come back.
So what if the thing that destroyed it was one of the other 8 cost monsters one of the other 8 cost ships that your opponent bought, and that ship hasn't died by the time it comes back to your hand?
Well, ships die at the end of the turn.
Oh, I must have missed that part.
Like I said, ships are one and done things.
Well, I need to reassess everything I was just saying then.
Bases stay out until they're destroyed.
Well, in that case, bases but not outposts?
Outposts do as well. Outposts are just an extension of bases.
Well, then I'm still considering, because again, like if your opponent has like low money or like weak cards, then you could probably throw this thing out, get some cards and get some heals in, and keep it there for a while if it doesn't die. And if
If
your
it
opponent,
doesn't die.
yeah,
Like,
and
if this thing doesn't die, like, 6 health every turn.
if your opponent has a lot of money, then they could possibly just blow it up really easily, and then you're like, well, so much for that.
Again, I don't understand what you mean by if the opponent has a lot of money, they can blow it up.
To just grab.
Like, are you just saying that because like these expensive ships do a lot of damage?
Well, yeah, and you said that it could just blow it up in one hit.
Okay, that's fair. So moving on then.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Factory World. This guy gives you. This is also an outpost. 6-point shield. He gives you 3 coins every turn, and the first card you purchase goes into your hand.
See, that sounds good. That sounds really good. Giving you money and ships or outposts or whatever you're buying. Wait, but only
it
the
doesn't
first.
matter if
it
does not matter if it is a ship or a base.
But only the first card or the first card of that turn.
The first card of that turn.
So it's repeatable. Okay, well
it is repeatable.
Well, so far that sounds like the best card. Giving you more money every turn and potentially more fleet things with which to use upon your opponent. That card would work very good, I think, with the red faction altogether, because when you're giving money and immediate cards to use, then you can like keep burning your useless cards and then just keep grabbing just any card really, just to like throw it into to burn.
You still need to be able to afford it.
Well, is 3 coins, isn't that enough for like small ships?
3 coins is enough for small ships.
Yeah, so if you have like an incinerator set up, then you can like spend some then you can like grab some ships, just some useless ships every turn, and then just burn them to feed your incinerator. At least that's my thought process. Can you have more than one of these factory worlds at a time?
No, there is only one. There is only one in the game.
There's only one in the game. All right, understood.
Well, there's only one per. There's only one per deck.
Ah, I see.
You can pick up duplicates of the deck that it comes in, but there will always only be one per deck.
I see.
Like each of these 8 cost cards only shows up once in the deck.
Yep.
Because 8 coins is a lot. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're saying all these cards are 8 coins, and they're all like the big guys.
These are the big boys.
Yeah.
And the last blue card.
Or big girls. You can't discriminate, Tar. I won't let you.
That's fair. Blue has 4 8-cost cards for some reason.
Oh, I thought you were only mentioning the ones that you thought were interesting. I didn't know that you were mentioning all of them.
No, these are all of them.
Oh, I thought there was like way more that you just thought sucked.
No, these are all of them.
Okay.
And lastly, we have the Transit Nexus. This is a base with a silver shield, so it can be protected. Every turn it is out, it gives you 3 damage, 4 coins, and 5 heals.
So you could probably stack that with the factory thing.
That's true. That is 7 coins every turn those 2 are out.
Plus, the factory thing lets you get the first card that you buy.
So that is some very easy access to some big monsters that if there are any on the market, of course.
I bet. I don't even want to make this joke, so I'm not gonna.
It has 6 points of armor.
Tar, I hate to say this, but I am thoroughly unengaged.
Oh, yeah, I could kind of tell, but we're almost done.
I'm kind of slouching in my chair, yeah. So I'm like, let's kind of speed through these.
Yeah, we're almost done. We only have the green faction left.
All right.
So first up, we have Blob World.
That sounds good.
Blob World is a base silver shield, so it can be protected. It has 7 points of armor.
Mm-hmm.
And what Blob World does is it can give you 5 damage, or you can draw a card for each green card you've played.
You've played that turn?
You've played this turn. You've played this turn.
So greens, you need more greens to use then. Am I to understand that right? Like, are green like the army kind of colors that like you want to just have a bunch of them?
Well, green is the faction that works the best with itself.
Green is the introverted faction. Rise, the anime fans, rise! We will punish those fools for not liking banana fish.
Green is the hostile aliens.
Come out, Tryford. We're here to punish you for your terrible anime opinions. And I've brought my friend, the Blob World. And then one of the members of the Green Guys is like, well, actually, I liked his opinions on Zombieland Saga. And then all of the other members just turn to him, and that one guy is like, I mean, it sucked. His opinions, that was. Not the show. Unless you guys don't like the show. And the Green Guy's just like killing him with that.
Yeah, like you don't... But if you don't have a very green-heavy hand, you can still opt for that 5 damage.
What if you don't have a very green-heavy hand because you're financially bankrupt?
Oof.
But I'm tis.
Boom.
Oh no, the Greens are at my door. They're here to kill me for not watching anime. Try, you have to hurry up and talk about the next card while I fend them off.
The blobs being weebs is the hottest of takes.
Back you! Ah, they're attacking me with Hatsune Miku pillows. Ah! Tart, hurry and talk about the next thing.
Okay, the next thing is the Leviathan.
Oh, that sounds badass.
It kind of is. Like, I'm trying not to let my opinions on these cards be known, because I want you to formulate your own opinions.
I think if the show has proven anything, it's that I am incapable of that.
The Leviathan is a ship. It does 9 damage. Draw 1 card and destroy a base for free. If you have a green friend for him, you can pick up a card of cost 3 or less on the market for free and put it in your hand.
Well, I think we have a winner.
Yeah, there's just he's scary.
Well, 3-cost cards usually very good is the thing.
There are some good ones. There are some good cards that only cost 3.
Oh, then yeah, that sounds pretty sweet.
The thing is, though, it has to be on the market. So if you have a market full of 4s, 5s, and 6s, you can't do it.
But, what if you get a Leviathan on the field, and then you flip the table, and then you spit in your opponent's face, and then you walk away? And you just leave your cards there. Then it doesn't matter what's in the market anymore.
I mean, the Leviathan does just kind of seem like the I win card, doesn't it?
Everything has a weakness.
But not this one, though.
Does it die at the end of the? Does it die at the end of its turn?
This is a ship, so yes, you only get. This is a one and done. You have to wait for it to pop back up.
Can you destroy like a I forgot what they're called, like a shield? I'm sorry, I forgot the phrase, but can you destroy a shield thing and then use the base destroying power? An outpost,
you can.
That's the word. So you could use it to break an outpost and then destroy the base that the outpost was protecting?
Yes.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
And lastly, this is the last card.
All right.
We have the Swarm Cluster. This is a base, silver shield, so it can be protected. It has 8 points of armor. So, again, really beefy.
Dang, you needed Emperor's Dreadnought for that.
Or a Leviathan.
Yeah, but Leviathan's green, and greens don't attack each other except all the time.
Truth.
Guys, we're all just anime fans. You don't like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Kill him! Spill his blood! What? You guys like JoJo? Crucify them!
So the Swarm
Mom is
Cluster.
staring at me like I'm a crazy person, and I don't blame her. It's just a show, Mom.
The Swarm Cluster, every turn it is out, it does 5 damage. If you have 1 green friend for him, it does an additional 3. And if you have 2 green friends for him, it does an additional 3 on top of that. So this thing can potentially do 11 damage every turn if you have a green heavy deck.
Seems like the greens and the blues would be like really at odds with each other then.
What do you mean by that?
Because one is just about doing one with something like this. You could like do a whole bunch of damage directly, and then the blue ones are just healing themselves, so you'd be at a bit of an impasse.
Except usually the damage outweighs the healing.
Who can go faster?
Otherwise, blue would be overpowered.
Well, all right, you greens, get out of my house. You've whacked me enough with your stupid stuff, and no, I will not buy those Figma things. Go,
okay,
shoot, get lost. Subscribe to Bros in a Landfill while you're here. You owe me that much, you greens.
So, which cards do you think would be the best, and which ones do you think would be the worst? Assuming you wrote everything down.
Well, we talked a lot about that incinerator strategy, but really, I think I just make a deck of yellows. Nothing ever really unsold me from that Dreadnought.
So the Emperor's Dreadnought you think would be the best?
Well, kinda, I guess.
Just because of that market manipulation
Emperor's
thing?
Dreadnought, yeah, what I'm thinking of is that if you run out of cards, then your discard pile becomes your deck. So what I'm thinking of is like, what if you like did a yellow and red kind of? What if you did like a yellow and blue or a blue and red kind of deal with a few other kind of faction colors, and you just burned your deck of all of its useless cards, and then just kept drawing the exact same 3 really strong cards?
That's the strat.
That's just what people try to do.
You do want to keep your deck thin. And you do want your most powerful cards to come out as often as possible.
Well, how big is your deck to begin with again?
10 cards.
10 cards. Man. Yeah. Honestly, I think like really I just think like this is kind of one of those games where you sort of have to play it to sort of know, because I'm mostly lost, and I'm like, I think anything I could come up with here would not really be all that accurate or intuitive, considering I know the rules, but I've never applied them. And practice
that
and
makes
experience.
sense. That's kind of why I wanted your perspective to differ, because like I've played it quite a bit and I know what's good.
Yeah, so I think if we did battle and I built a deck and around one or two or three of these cards that you mentioned, you'd probably like stomp me into dust easily.
And spoiler alert, the cards that you mentioned that did sound really good did make it to the top of my list. So good on you.
Interesting. But did the cards I said suck be at the bottom of your list?
Remind me which cards you said sucked again?
Mostly just cards that did the same thing as each other but had less power. Like this is a ship, and it lets you draw cards, and it lets you discard another card. And I'm like, yeah, but this other ship already does that, and this already does that.
I remember you said the Fleet HQ didn't excite you too much, and yes, you did get that one.
I think I said I liked Brainland, didn't I?
Brain World made it into the middle.
I think I liked Brain World, but I didn't like the nano machine thing, or the nano bug swarm.
Okay, that makes sense.
That one surprised you. I remember you were like, "Really?"
I'm surprised you have spent so much time speculating on the incinerator, because that one I actually put as the worst.
Which one?
The incinerator.
Oh.
And here is why. Because the 2 damage for each card scrapped is an ally ability.
So you already need another red every turn just to get to work?
Yep. So, in order to use the incinerator to its maximum capacity, you need to build a red deck and then not use it.
Well, I mean, yeah, kind
of. Also, like, Brain World and the Nanobot Swarm both do more things than the incinerator. Because, like, the only thing the incinerator does base is the scrapping. But Brain World and the Nanobot Swarm both have that native as well as other things.
I guess I considered the incinerator to be like, again, I think I was thinking about this too much like a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Cause
like, that's the card you want to center it around? Like,
yeah, because
obviously if you are going to use the incinerator, you do want to build your deck around it.
Yeah. But like,
because otherwise there's no point in taking it unless there isn't really anything else available.
Yeah, but the thing too is that with a 10 card deck, and you have to buy all of your things from a shop that updates stock whenever you buy something, I believe.
Yes, as soon as you buy something from the market, whatever you bought is replaced with a new card.
Yeah, so the incinerator, you see, because when you think about it from that perspective too, like apply the incinerator Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, where you have a 40-card deck and say the incinerator is your end game, then it seems fine. But when I wasn't really considering it from its own universe. And when you put it into the perspective of its own universe, you need to have 8 coins to even get this card. Then you have to play it. Then you have to have a bunch of reds. Then you have to have a lot of fodder to like burn for it. And then you have to keep having a lot of fodder to burn for it. And it's like, yeah.
Exactly.
Now, you're right. When you think about it from that perspective, it does seem pretty lousy.
So yeah, that one's number 13. At number 12, I put the Transit Nexus. Because, like, I think the most impressive thing it does is give you 4 coins.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, if you're affording 8 cost cards, chances are you don't need coins anymore.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. As I kept forgetting too, these cards are all 8 cost, and 8 cost is a lot.
Like, if it's up there, I'll probably take it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Incinerator is the only 8 cost card that I would consider bad. Like, the Transit Nexus is just kind of mediocre.
I guess a lot of these 8 cost cards seem kind of like really, really situational. Like, you kind of want to set them up for an event where you have 8 coins, and then you want to assess the field at that given moment and go, do I want a shield? Do I want an attacker? What do I want at this present moment? And
well,
that's
generally the strat is early game, you pick up as many coin-giving ships as you can. You want a lot of coins because you want to buy that big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You want to buy whatever big stuff comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end of the game, you want more shields and you want more damage.
Mm-hmm. So getting 8 coins early to buy a big fort that gives you more coins early is kind of self-defeating.
I mean, it also heals you for 5.
That seems like more of an insurance kind of idea, I think.
Exactly. Like, the Transit Nexus does a little bit of everything, but I'm not entirely sure that it's worth spending 8 coins on.
Like what you're saying is it does a little bit of everything, but that little bit isn't enough on its own. And that's
I mean, again, you need to consider the fact that this is 8 coins.
Yeah. The cost is a big thing to it, is a big part of it.
And I'm not even talking about, like, is this worth 8 coins? If you have 8 coins, you should probably be investing in better things.
Yeah. But if you already
it's
have
not the worst thing in the world, but it's not the best
things,
either.
Yeah. It's more like if you're already ahead, then you want to keep your lead, and if it just happens to be there, then by all means. But if it's not, there's better stuff than it.
Right. Next is going to be... This might be a bit of a hot take, but next I'm going to put the Fleet HQ. I'm going to put the Fleet HQ at number 11. And this is a hot take because some people might think that it's not low enough. Nobody likes the Fleet HQ.
I don't even remember the Fleet HQ.
Whenever you play a ship, gain 1 damage.
That's all it did?
Yes, and it's an 8-point shield that can be protected.
Well, it sounds just very fine.
Like, it can work, but you were talking about cards that were very situational. This is the definition of situational.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you do manage to get the Fleet HQ in a deck that has a lot of ships that let you draw cards, like, yeah, you're gonna... Like, this thing is gonna pump out something like 8 damage on its own.
But you have to actually have it, and then you have to have it played, and then you have to have all the setup to draw all the stuff.
Yes, but it's also whenever a ship is played. So that kind of draw heavy deck kind of works against itself, because the last card you draw might be that Fleet HQ. You slam that down, but then you have no more ships to play, and the Fleet HQ is just sitting there.
Yep. So you want to have it first, then you want to have a bunch of stuff, then you want to play it down, then you want to summon the rest of that stuff.
Yes, it's exactly.
So if you happen to get it, and you don't have a lot of other cards in your hand, or a lot of other cards to play, then it just kind of is a dead card that you're waiting for a big bunch of other cards before it's useful. It's like a rock.
Exactly.
It's useless outside of very specific situations.
Yeah.
And also, you're just like
I said, some people might think I put that up too high.
It's like a rock for a middle schooler. You can throw it through your teacher's window, but that's pretty much it.
Next up, I put Capital World.
That name.
I put Capital World at number 10. That one was 6 heals and draw a card.
I don't know what it is, but something about that name just kind of, like, seems odd to me. Capital World. I'm a bank.
It was like, yeah, 6 heals is a lot, but like I said, it's probably only going to be out for 1 turn.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that is a 6 damage that pretty much has to be taken. So you're separating, so you're either widening or narrowing the gap by 12. And you get a free card out of it. But it just doesn't really do all that much that's impressive.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think so too. Didn't I describe it as such?
I think you did.
Oh, cool.
But
let's ask the real question here, Tyler.
Yes?
Why wasn't the Grinch in this game? We were cheated out of him in Smash Brothers, but now I want him in Star Realms.
You want put the Grinch in Star Realms.
and put Santa Claus in too. We needed the epic battle between both. The man who pulls his pants down versus the man who doesn't wear pants to begin with.
Yikes.
And they're gonna fight over Christmas.
At number 9, I put the Swarm Cluster. Because, like, yes, that is an insane amount of damage. But damage is very important at this point in the game, but damage is all it's doing. Plus, you have to build a green heavy deck in order to really utilize it. And like I said, green's the high damage faction. So by the time you really get to use it, you've already won.
Well, I mean, if there's anything we know about greens, it's that they like rubbing their victories in. God, I don't care what the review scores were for that anime. Ugh. look, I'm not saying what reviewers think of it. I'm saying what I think of it. Yes, that matters. You guys are just jealous because you don't get banana fish like we do.
Jeez, banana fish, what a meme.
You guys just think you guys are hating on Dakaiji for no reason.
Oh! Oh! Yikes! I give Dizzy one yike. So number 8. This might seem like a hot take to you, but at number 8, I put the Emperor's Dreadnought.
Tara, I have a hot take for you.
Yo.
I don't know what the word hot take means.
Hit me. What?
I don't know what hot take means.
Oh.
You've been using that phrase since I've known you all these years, and I never knew what it meant.
Oh.
Now the truth comes out.
A hot take is a kind of a controversial opinion.
Oh. And the next controversial opinion is that these secrets and more will be revealed with when we return after these messages.
Oh.
And we're back.
Hey, kids! Okay.
We're not being
I thought
sponsored.
you just wanted me to ad-lib a commercial.
We're not being sponsored, Tara. We don't have any commercials.
Oh, true. The Emperor's Dreadnought is by no means bad, but I think there's quite a bit more that's better than it. You also have to build somewhat yellow heavy in order to get its hand manipulation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a acquisition manipulation thing. Because that was what drew you into it, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it can go directly into your hand.
Yeah.
Like, you'd kind of have to build yellow heavy for that.
Well, again,
yellow isn't good at generating coins.
Well, I was gonna say again, that might have been because of me thinking about it from Yu-Gi-Oh logic, where I was just because you had to keep reminding me you can mix and match factions, because I legitimately kept forgetting, because usually in a card game, to my understanding, you want to have a lot of consistency.
And you do want to have a lot of consistency here too, but you typically want to build 2 colors.
I see.
Each color serves an important function too, which is what makes picking and choosing difficult. Because you want everything, but if you try to get everything, you kind of don't. Because
I want everything. Wahaha! It's me, Wario. Oh shoot!
That was
going to be sued by Nintendo
surprisingly
now.
Good.
It's pizza time. That was an actual quote. Wario actually said that.
Yeah, from Spider-Man?
No, that was the thing he said in WarioWare 3DS. He was he was hungry, and then he was like, "Oh, it's pizza time." And he's like, "Oh yeah," because he wanted pizza.
I can see Wario liking pizza.
I can see Nintendo not knowing the meme.
Oh.
To them, they were just, "Oh, that's just a silly phrase." And then to people on the internet, they're like, "Oh no."
But yeah, the Emperor's Dreadnought isn't bad. There's just a lot of things that I would put better than it. Again, 8 damage is nothing to scoff at.
It is if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh monster. I summoned the Blue Eyes White Dragon baby. This little monster has 1 star and 8 bajillion attack points and 0 defense points. And its effect is that if you summon this card, you win the duel, and also you get to kill your opponent and steal all their stuff.
Oh. Well then.
Yeah, it was banned at tournaments.
I can see that. At number 7, I put Brain World. And this was hard for me because I really love Brain World. It's one of my favorite cards.
Well, I mean, the Landfill is kind of like Brain World if you think about it.
What do you mean?
Because it's a big sort of fort area kind of thing. We have the Landfill.
Okay.
We have each other. You, me, Tryford, and Lunch, and sometimes GD. And we're all smart, and we also get rid of a lot of stuff that we don't need, like brain cells.
I love Brain World. Scrapping in this game is such a powerful ability. like, it probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people that I put the incinerator at the bottom, but I just hate that thing with a passion.
Well, the incinerator does nothing but scrap, but Brain World gives you a lot of stuff, and it scraps.
Brain World can give you up to 2 cards, and that's if you choose to scrap.
Yeah.
And that is why I put the Nanobot Swarm directly above it, because with the Nanobot Swarm, you get damage and you get the guaranteed 2 cards.
Ow!
Like, for Brain World, you have to scrap to draw, but Nanobot Swarm, it's just there. You just get 2 free cards.
2 gold coins!
So yeah, the Nanobot Swarm is at number 6. At number 5, I put the Imperial Flagship. Because, again, that's 2 free cards. Also 7 damage.
It's all about that draw power.
Yeah, draw power in this game is phenomenal.
Speaking of draw power, do you remember that episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX that implies magic? Where they're like,
no.
Yes, that's right, a duelist can draw the best cards, because it's not like you shuffle your deck ahead of time and that the cards you draw are set in stone or anything. That would just be silly. And you can draw better cards by improving your draw. And we have these sandwiches and in the cafeteria, and there's one really, really good sandwich with a lot of eggs or something. It's the coveted egg salad sandwich or something.
Actually, yes, I do remember this.
And then there's like a bunch of sandwiches that were just okay, and then there were some like really bad sandwiches, I believe. I might be remembering that part wrong. And then Jaden just kept drawing bad sandwiches.
Oh.
And then there was a guy and then one of the person who was making the sandwiches says like, yeah, none of the students have got the egg salad sandwich because it keeps mysteriously disappearing and no one gets it, and we don't know why. And then the main characters, because they really want that sandwich, they like start an investigation, and they find out that this guy who ditched the academy years ago, where I don't know what happened to him exactly, but he lives in the forest now, and he doesn't wear a shirt, and he's like, I always had the worst draw ever in school, so now I've been practicing my draw. I've been honing my craft, and I've been practicing every single day, and I've been going to the sandwich place, and I would grab one sandwich, and that sandwich would always be the egg salad sandwich because I practiced so hard on drawing, and I can always draw the card I need. And I'm like, how does any of this work?
That's not how that works.
I don't think that's how card games work. I think you have a 40-card deck, you shuffle it, and then you draw the cards that are on top.
Yeah. At number 4, I put Blob World. Because like, again, that one's kind of situational. Like, if you have a green heavy deck, watch the fuck out.
Blobs in a landfill.
Because
can I title this episode Trash Realms?
Yes, you can.
Or Star Trash. Nah, Trash Realms sounds better.
Trash Realms. Realms is better. Especially since a lot of the green ally abilities are draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a green heavy deck. You play all your blob card. You play all the blob cards in your hand. Draw all those additional cards to your allies, and then activate Blob World to draw a card for every green card you've played. I've drawn legitimately 5 cards because of Blob World. It's ridiculous. The Blob World is so good, and if you don't do that, you have 5 damage to fall back on.
I don't like fall back. I like spring forward better. Time changes are stupid.
Wait, you should like fall back better because that gives you more time to be asleep.
I don't like time changes in general because it takes me 6 months to get used to them, and then they change again.
Gosh. Can we get an F in the chat for Dizzy?
No, you get a D in the chat for dork.
Oh, damn.
D doesn't mean don't care anymore. Now it just means dork. You want an F in the chat? I'll give you an F.
Oh.
Hold on.
At number 3, I put the command ship, and I remember you saying that one was pretty good too, because like it does a lot, and it does do a lot. Like drawing 2 cards is very powerful. 4 healing. It is a base killer. Well, it can be a base killer. You have to have a blue friend for him. Like the command ship is just good. The command ship is very worth the 8 point. Is very worth 8.
Well, I guess that's just how it is.
Oh. Hello. Oh.
I couldn't find the right image. But
Oh.
this image tells you this is the image I was going to get, but it was the other one. Anyways, yes.
Yeah,
I have nothing to add, so I'm just making stupid jokes, really.
That makes sense. That's valid. And number 2, I put the Leviathan.
I see now why you wanted 3 people for this cast.
Yeah.
Because I have, like, nothing to say. I wanted to talk about Pokemon.
Maybe next week.
But next week's not a multiple of 8.
Oh. Well, rip and kill.
Rip and pasta.
It's like, there is nothing that causes more havoc than the Leviathan. 9 damage and a base? Yes, please.
Just wait until they introduce something that does 10 damage and destroys 2 bases.
They have something that does 10 damage.
Just wait till they add something that does 3 damage, and it gives you the ability to run up to your opponent and stab them.
Oh.
Do you remember that episode of Markiplier when Markiplier is being interviewed by Pink Mustache Man, and then Pink Mustache Man pulls this knife out from his pants, and he stabs Mark in the stomach, and he's like, no, 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 and he kills Mark.
Notices your bulge.
That was not where it was. Dirty. How dare you make a joke like that on this family-friendly podcast, you fucking prick.
And at number 1, I put Factory World, just because, yes, like Factory World is as broken as it sounds.
Well,
like 3 coins and the next card, the first card purchased every turn goes into your hand. Like,
looks like
the only downside is that it's an outpost, so it goes away immediately. So it gets blown up immediately, is what I mean by that. But anyways, yes. Dizzy likes the Emperor's Dreadnought, and I like Factory World.
I like Factory World too. It was better. Your
favorite? No, your favorite was the Leviathan, wasn't it?
No, I think I liked Dreadnought more personally. But again, my opinions literally don't matter in this case because I'm talking as a complete outsider. Like, my opinions on Star Realms are the same as my opinions on the Green Lantern. Like, I don't know.
Same.
Who is the best Green Lantern? I don't know.
And we're going to close out the show before we get raged by the Marvel or DC fanboys or whatever Green Lantern is, because I legitimately don't know.
The Greens are back. They're here to complain to me about how I don't know about Green Lantern. Ah!
Oh gosh, this has been Bros in the Landfill, signing out.
Save yourself, Tar!